Today we are continuing our discussion about the mitzvah of prayer. Yesterday we asked, how is it that one could think that through my prayers I could change God's mind? And we gave one answer, which was that we're not changing God's mind, but rather we are changing ourselves. Today we are going to see two more answers to this question. And the first one I'll say with a story. The Baal Shem Tov, as we know, would often go on some remarkable adventures which we learn many lessons from. One time he came together with two of his students to an inn by the name of someone called Meir. And he asked by this Meir if they could please stay for the night. Meir, who was honored to have the Baal Shem Tov there, said for sure. He gave him the best room that he had, served him the most delicious food, and the Baal Shem Tov, together with the students, stayed for the night. The next day, the guests asked if they could stay a little longer. And Meir, who was delighted, said for sure. And again, he started going through the closets, bringing out the whatever other food he could serve and honor the Baal Shem Tov with, until it happened again and again. And eventually, after a while, the Baal Shem Tov with the students being here, they took leave from their gracious host Meir, and they said goodbye. Meir, who by now all his resources had been emptied, the closets, he had emptied it all out to honor the Baal Shem Tov the best way possible, was left with nothing. When the Baal Shem Tov left, his children came to him and said, "Daddy, we're starving, we have nothing to eat. What are we going to eat now?" So Meir sat them down and said, "Do you know who we had here? We had the holy Baal Shem Tov," and he shared with them stories about the holiness and the greatness and the miracles which the Baal Shem Tov had performed. But then after a while, his wife turned to him and said, "Meir, the stories are great, but it's not going to fill their stomachs." So Meir, now distraught and feeling the stress and the pressure of it, turned to Hashem and davened and begged Hashem that Hashem should help them. Soon after, Meir actually things turned for the better, and he became extremely wealthy. He was very, very rich. And he decided that he's going to go visit the holy tzaddik, the Baal Shem Tov. When he arrived at the Baal Shem Tov turned to his students that accompanied him on the trip and said, "You remember? This was Meir that we went to visit. I saw up in heaven that really he was destined to be wealthy. But there was only thing that God was waiting for him to ask for it, for him to daven. So therefore I made him feel so desperate. I emptied his resources that he should feel that he's no one else to turn to but to God." Because until then, Meir was very content and happy with his life the way it was. At times, Hashem has great plans for us. Amazing things that he wants to shower us with, he wants to give us. But his only stipulation for that is that we should go and ask for it. If we ask for it, then we will get it. But if not, then unfortunately the life that we will have will be plan B. So really, through prayer, we are not changing God's mind. God intended for this to begin with. God didn't intend that this individual should be sick or that this individual should be poor. God had a plan A for this individual, but in order to open up the channel for plan A, there was only one condition. The key to that door is prayer, to ask for it. If not, then the life that will be for that individual would be plan B. There's another answer for this question, number 3, and that is the way Chassidus explains that often the words which are used for prayer are Yehi Ratzon, that it should be the will. Those words shed light on the power of prayer. Meaning that it could be that until now the will of God was not to give this person blessings. But through prayer we can in fact create a new desire. That if until now the will of God was otherwise, now we're asking that it should be the will of God to shower upon us these blessings. Unlike the other two answers which are saying that we cannot change God's mind, the third answer says that yes, in fact we can change God's mind. And this can be understood from using an analogy with a parent and a child. At times, a parent and a child will have a deal that if you do X, Y, and Z, then you'll get something, this great toy or this ice cream or whatever it is. And the child doesn't do it. But then the child will turn pleading, maybe crying to the parent and saying, "Please, please, give it to me anyway." So the child, because of the deep connection that they have, they're able to circumvent the regular rules that usually exist in order to be able to attain this prize. The same thing is with Hashem and the Jewish people, because we are like His children. So usually, perhaps Hashem, based on the formula, the way it was supposed to be, it was all set out with a specific structure, and the only way the plan was for so and so to be sick, for so and so to be poor, for so and so to fail in school. But then that was just the plan, the way it was set out to begin with. But through prayer, then we can open up, tap into we have the strings that we're able to pull, are able to open up and create completely new channels and create a Yehi Ratzon, create a new will from Hashem.